I never thought I would be writing this down, but after what happened a few nights ago, I can't shake it from my head. I keep replaying the sound, the water, the crying. I'm putting this here because I need someone, anyone, to tell me I didn't just imagine her, that what I saw wasn't real. But I know it was. I felt it in my bones. I live just outside Mexico City, in a neighborhood that's not too far from the canals. It's modern enough, with streetlights and concrete sidewalks, but it still has that eerie quiet at night when everything shuts down and the only sound is the dogs barking in the distance. My friends and I had been hanging out late that night, just drinking and joking around at my place. Around 2 in the morning, one of my buddies said he had to head home. I offered to walk him a couple blocks since it was dark, and the streets weren't always safe. He waved me off, laughing, saying I was acting like his mom. I shrugged it off and decided to take the trash out instead. That's when I heard it. It started faint, so faint I thought it was just the wind. A long, drawn-out cry, a woman's voice. Sad, hollow, breaking apart in the middle like her chest had been ripped open. It came from the direction of the canal. I froze halfway to the trash bins, holding the bag in my hand, my skin crawling. The voice grew louder, drifting closer, echoing down the empty street. I remember my heart hammering because it didn't sound like anyone crying for help. It was the kind of cry that makes your stomach turn, like grief soaked in rage. I dropped the trash and took a few steps toward the streetlight, trying to see. The crying kept going, rising, falling, like she was walking aimlessly, but coming closer. My neighbor's dogs started barking like crazy, howling, scratching at their gates. I could hear them whining between barks, like they wanted to run but couldn't. Then, as clear as if she was standing right next to me, I heard her. A woman's voice, broken but sharp. I miss Hios. Every part of my body went cold. I'd heard the stories since I was a kid. La Llorona, the weeping woman who drowned her children and was cursed to roam forever, searching for them. I used to laugh it off, like every other legend parents tell their kids to scare them. But hearing that cry in the middle of the night, echoing through empty streets, was something else. I swear my legs wouldn't move. I just stood there, breathing fast, listening. The crying grew louder, and I could hear the shuffle of water, like bare feet dragging through puddles. But it hadn't rained in days. Against every bit of common sense, I walked toward the sound, my phone clutched tight in my hand. The canal wasn't far, just 3 blocks down. Each step I took, the air got heavier, wetter, like humidity pressing against my skin. I could hear dripping, splashing, though the pavement was bone dry. When I turned the last corner, I saw her. She was standing right in the middle of the street, facing the canal. Her back was to me, her dress long and white, torn and soaked at the bottom. It clung to her like it was dripping wet, but there was no water around her. Her hair was long, tangled, covering her face as she bent forward, rocking. I couldn't see her clearly under the flickering streetlight, but she wasn't solid. Her edges seemed to waver, like heat rising off asphalt. My throat went dry. I wanted to run back, slam my door shut, and hide under the covers like a child, but my body refused. She let out another wail, longer and sharper than before, and it pierced right through me. It was the kind of sound you don't just hear. You feel it rattle your teeth, make your chest vibrate. I tried to lift my phone to take a picture, but my hand wouldn't move. I felt like gravity itself was pulling me down, pressing me in place. Then she turned. Her head snapped to the side faster than any human should move, and her face was pale, bloated, like it had been underwater for days. Her eyes were black pits, dripping what looked like ink running down her cheeks. Her mouth was open, unnaturally wide, stretching as she screamed again. I stumbled back, and that's when I saw her hands, long gray with nails like claws. She reached toward me, and though she was still yards away, the air between us grew icy. My breath came out in white clouds. I don't remember running, but suddenly I was slamming my front door shut, chest heaving, heart about to rip out of me. I locked everything, even shoved a chair against the door. I stayed awake until sunrise, shaking, listening. I thought maybe I dreamt it. Maybe it was just some drunk woman near the canal. But when I went outside in the morning, I saw wet footprints leading from the corner straight toward my house. Bare feet, small like children's, but stopping right at my gate. I nearly threw up. The rest of the day, I kept trying to convince myself it was fake, a prank, hallucination, something. But that night, when I finally managed to sleep, I dreamed of water. Dark, endless water. I was standing in it up to my waist, and I could hear crying all around me. Something brushed my leg, small hands grabbing my clothes, pulling me down. I screamed, clawing at nothing, and when I looked down, I saw the faces of children beneath the surface, pale, wide-eyed, mouths open in bubbles. They were all looking up at me, and then behind them, she rose, her face breaking through the water with that same scream. I woke up drenched in sweat, choking on my breath. I didn't sleep the next night, or the one after, but the crying hasn't stopped. It's not constant, but it comes in waves, usually between midnight and 3. Always faint at first, then close, too close. Sometimes I hear it outside my window, like she's standing right there. I don't look anymore. I just sit frozen in my bed, staring at the wall, waiting for it to fade. But every night, it's louder. Every night, I swear she's closer. And then came the worst part. 3 nights ago, I heard splashing in my bathroom. I live alone, so I froze. My bathroom is small, just a few steps from my bed. I didn't want to look, but the sound kept going, like someone's hands slapping water. I grabbed a kitchen knife and slowly pushed the door open. The light flickered, and the floor was covered in water. My bathtub was overflowing, though I never ran it. And in the tub, I saw her, kneeling, her hair hanging, her hands pressed against the water as she rocked back and forth, crying. The tub was filled almost to the brim, but her dress kept dripping onto the floor, like she was pulling water out of nowhere. She lifted her head slowly, and through her hair, I saw her mouth twist into something that wasn't quite a smile, but not entirely a scream. She whispered, so faint I almost didn't hear it. "Where are my children?" I slammed the door, heart pounding, and when I opened it again a second later, everything was dry. The tub was empty. The floor was bone dry. I don't know how much more I can take. She's following me. I know it. It's not just the canals, not just the street. She's in my house. She's inside my dreams. And every time I hear her voice, I feel this pull, like she's dragging me toward her, like she wants me to go with her into that water. I haven't left my house in 2 days. I barely eat. The crying doesn't stop. And last night, for the first time, I swear, I heard children's laughter with her voice. 2 nights after the bathtub, I couldn't take it anymore. I packed a bag and decided to stay with my cousin on the other side of the city. He lives in a busy apartment complex, surrounded by traffic, people, noise. I thought maybe the city itself would drown her out. Maybe I could breathe again. But as I left my house at dusk, I noticed something that froze me in my tracks. The wet footprints were back. Dozens of them, small, barefoot, clustered all around my gate. They weren't just facing inward this time. They trailed out onto the sidewalk, spreading in every direction, as if children had wandered aimlessly in the night. I shut my eyes and forced myself to keep walking, pretending I hadn't seen. My cousin welcomed me without asking too many questions. He could see I looked like hell. Dark circles under my eyes, trembling hands, the whole thing. We ordered food, put on a dumb movie, and tried to relax. By midnight, I actually started to believe I'd made the right choice. The constant honking outside, people laughing in the hallways, the hum of the city, it all felt alive, safe, distracting. When I finally drifted to sleep on his couch, I almost believed it was over. Then at 2:47 a.m., I woke to water dripping. I thought maybe my cousin left the faucet running, but the sound wasn't steady. It was a slow, heavy drip, like something soaking through the ceiling. I sat up, rubbing my eyes, and that's when I heard it. The crying, faint, muffled, like it was behind a wall. I froze, praying it was the neighbors. Maybe some couple fighting, maybe a baby wailing. But the cry grew sharper, stretching into that voice I knew too well. I miss Hijos. I grabbed my cousin's arm, shaking him awake, whispering, "Do you hear that?" He blinked at me groggy, listened for a second, then frowned. "No, man. Go back to sleep." He turned over and passed out instantly. My stomach dropped. She was here, but only I could hear her. The crying grew louder, circling the apartment. First near the kitchen, then the hallway, then right outside the window. I pressed myself against the wall, covering my ears, but it seeped through, rattling my skull. I don't know how long it went on, but eventually it stopped. When I finally dozed off again, I dreamed of her. She was in the building's stairwell, her wet dress staining each step as she climbed floor by floor, searching, dragging her claws against the walls, leaving long, black streaks behind. When I woke, I checked the stairwell. Clean, no marks, no stains, but my shoes were soaked. I left my cousin's place that same morning. He looked confused, maybe a little concerned, but I didn't bother explaining. I knew now there was no escaping her. It didn't matter where I went. She was tied to me. For days, I tried everything I could think of. Prayers my grandmother taught me, leaving salt at the windows, even lighting candles. Nothing worked. The crying still came every night, closer each time. Sometimes I'd wake up choking, as if water was filling my lungs. Other times I'd feel tiny hands tugging at my blanket, pulling it off while I lay paralyzed. And once, I woke to see her face hovering inches above mine, dripping onto my pillow. Her mouth opened slowly, and I swear I felt her breath freezing my skin. When I screamed, she vanished. Now I barely leave the house. The crying follows me no matter what. On the bus, I'll hear it faintly under the roar of the engine. At work, it'll echo in the bathroom stall when I'm alone. It's not just at night anymore. She's with me always, just out of sight. Last night was the worst. I was lying awake, staring at the ceiling, when I heard splashing again. Not from the bathroom this time, from under my bed. I leaned over slowly, heart pounding, and saw water dripping onto the floor. I got down low, and my heart nearly stopped. Under the bed was not darkness, but water, deep and black, rippling. And in that water, faces. Children, pale and glassy-eyed, staring up at me. Their hands reached, breaking the surface, clutching at the edges of the bed frame. Behind them, she rose. Taller than before, her head bent at an unnatural angle, her hair plastered across her bloated face. She reached up, and the water surged higher, spilling onto the floor. I scrambled back, hitting the wall, screaming. And just as suddenly as it began, it was gone. The floor was dry. I can't do this anymore. I don't know how much longer I can hold on. I feel like she's getting closer to pulling me in. Every night the water is higher. Every cry is louder. Every time I hear, "Hey, Miss Hijos," it's like she's speaking directly to me. Like she's chosen me to take their place. If you're reading this, maybe you think I'm crazy. Maybe you think I'm just another guy losing his mind. But listen to me carefully. If you ever hear crying near the water at night, don't go looking. Don't get curious. Don't make the same mistake I did. Because once you hear her voice clearly, once she notices you, there's no way out. She's out there right now, crying, searching, and sooner or later, she will find you. Thank you for tuning in. Please leave a like and subscribe. I will see you again next week.